Renovating rusty old steel boats takes a lot of time and patience, and in this week's video I've got little of both. Right, let's kick off. New episode, and first of all I've got a few little jobs to do. The door's hanging off, but I've got some little jobs to do on this hull before we progress further. I don't know what it is about this door, but it gets blown off all the time. Look at the size of the screws on the hinges. I'm going to have to find something a little bit beefier to put them into. Can you see the T-section here that goes across under that board? If we go to the starboard side, you can see it extends across, and then there's another T-section that runs down over the plate. And on this side we took it off because it was rotten. So my next job is to restore that piece of T-section that needs to go back in over the hull. And as is very common in this boat build, in all boat builds I think, is that to do one job you've got to do another, because I've also identified that the rib goes down the hull but it attaches to this piece here. So next job, this is supposed to extend to the back of the hull. In order to do that, we've also got to extend this, because this is two pieces. This is T-section and some normal 4mm plate. But I want to remove this 4mm plate because it's quite corroded down here, so we'll put a section in as long as we've got. Before I do that, I've just got to make sure this plate meets again, because if you remember we cut it here to allow it to go down to help get that hump out to put this stiffener in. Now we should be able to push the back of the boat up so that we meet the contour of the hull. I'll do that first, and then we'll cut some steel. Mild panic then, because I thought I'd run out of it. I looked under the boat, couldn't find any, and then I realised I'd propped the last piece up in the corner. I've spent a whole day, just trying to get this back plate completely level, because there was a little bit of a hump, as I told you before, but I'm also starting to think now that that hump has come from where the boat's been supported over the years. There's a slight distortion that I've been working really hard with the bracers and things like that to try and straighten out. I've done a pretty good job, but I got that frustrated with it. I started videoing it, but it turned into such a big job and such a difficult job for a man on his own that I didn't get much recording done. So I apologise for that. You've not missed anything because it's boring, but I've got to the stage now where I'm really happy with how level this is. I've had to cut out some of the old tack welds and redo them again. And I'm about to measure up now. So I apologise for boring video with not much in it. You've missed a day's worth of work, but there was nothing in that day except me swearing and huffing and chuffing and things like that. Right, let's crack on. Let's get you some content. The gap under here, there isn't one anymore, it goes all the way to the front. There wasn't before. There was a great big gap with a hump in the middle, but we've sorted it. And this dangly chain all the way to the back, no gap, so that is completely flat now. So it was worth all the hassle, and it was a lot of hassle. Right, big thank you, Heath Pilkington, again for the care package. Heath Pilkington's one of our VIPs, but he's not the only VIP. Hemper and Just Guessing Garage. Thank you very much, VIP members. I had a load of comments from the last video telling me with the laser when we were laser cutting to hold the laser at 90 degrees to the work. I had to answer that comment a dozen times, so I thought I'd answer it here. Laser cutting's different to plasma cutting, and I understand plasma cutting, you've got a shorter distance to cut through if it's perpendicular to the work surface. But with the laser, you can't have it perpendicular to the surface because you get reflection back up to the collimator and to the lens, and you can damage it. So you have to purposely keep an angle on a laser cutter. Anyway, I just thought I wanted to answer that. Well, that's been slow progress this week, but to be honest, I've only had 2 days down here at the boat, and I spent most of the day messing around with the levels on this boat. 2 days because I've been at work, unfortunately, so I can only spare 2 days this week, but I've got a few more days next week, so that's good news. I'm a bit disappointed with my welding this week, and because of that, I've decided just to spot weld a few in. I'm going to weld again on a fresh day. I've said this before, but when you do it at the end of the day when you're tired, particularly when you're frustrated and fed up because you've been banging around and trying to get the level and huffing and chuffing and swearing, it's not a good time to try and get your game on. So I put a few tack welds in. These are non-critical welds particularly, but I'm going to attend to the welding next time. Some of these are ugly. They did get a little bit better towards the end, but the early ones were really ugly. But no worries. Right, sorry for the slow progress. Does look good though, eh? So you can see now we've extended this all the way to the back. This is nice and solid now. We managed to get that bend out of the back. It's nice and straight, follows that straight edge all the way to the front. I've not welded in the front edge because I may actually continue with new steel further back from here. So I didn't want to weld this one in just yet until I'd made my mind up when we get to that back section and we start cleaning it up. Some ugly welds here. We will be grinding and cleaning these down. Bit of an ugly weld there, even uglier weld there, and some more welds up at the front. Oh, these are the worst up at the top. Anyway, hope this video's not too short and there's not too much splatter on the screen. Right, don't forget, thumbs up, subscribe button, hype button, leave us a comment, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. It's cold.